I believe I've started a recording. I've started a recording. Now, first off, y'all gotta thank me. I'm gonna tell you why. I've been in the studio for 2 days. I can't even brush my beard out. So I'm in here feeling away. It's a little thing. It's a little thing. But you know what? It's because I wasn't leaving until I got this video done. Because I was putting it off for too long. Too long. Let me make sure this shit is recording at the same time. Let me make sure. It is. All right. This is my first time doing this, using OBS Studio and all of that. But anyways, let me tell y'all what's up, man. All right. I talk too damn much, but my name is Vasco Savar, also known as Produced by Yasuke. And today we're actually here in the temple, right? This is the recording studio me and my business partner have acquired. And I brought my studio from home in here. Yes, I brought my studio from home in here. I got a little portable studio that I move around with. And I got it hooked up and I got it all set up right now. And the reason for that is this. So this series is for people who have either just got into, recording themselves, or maybe you finally have been the guy that was like, you know what, man, I can't really rely on people. I got to take this into my own hand, and you want to learn how to mix. Or maybe you just like, yo, I'm trying to get the bag. I know a bunch of rapping ass friends, you know what I mean? And they always arguing that they can't find studios. Fuck it, I'm gonna be the studio guy. So you might be, trying to get into the engineering thing. But essentially what this here is for is to show you that you can actually still have a great product even if you haven't blown the bag on plugins. You know what I mean? So this series is so you can know you can start where you are with what you have and still make good music. You know what I mean? Alright, so about this particular song that I have here, I actually wrote this and made the beat specifically for this video. And what I'm saying is I used all FL sounds, everything that you could use for free. Like as soon as you get the program, you can just make a beat with whatever's in there. So what I did is I went and I just used all FL sounds and I made a beat. All right. You know what? I will play the beat by itself. I wasn't planning on it, but I'll play the beat by itself so you can see what we working with. Let me stay in front of the fucking microphone though. Sorry for the bad words, but I'm a bad word user. All right, let's go. Never did a tutorial before, so I might talk in the wrong places. It don't matter. We here though. Alright, so that's the beat that we're going to be working with. Alright, so I will tell you guys, alright, the gear that I use for this is I actually recorded this with an Audio Technica 2020, an AT2020. Now the AT20, I wanted this video to be fucking for short. I'm talking about all this extra shit. But anyways, the AT2020 is a $100 microphone, all right? And I have this thing about myself where I like testing myself by using lower grade equipment, or just using the stock plugins, especially the FL plugins, because they don't come with things like analyzers sometimes. You know what I mean? Like the compressor, there is no analyzer. You gotta hear. You have to be able to hear the compression in order to do what you want. You have to have an idea of what you're doing and which direction you're going in and what tool you're actually using in order to get the right sound. You know what I mean? That's why I tell you guys, like, yo, I believe that you should. Rather, I'm not trying to tell anybody to do anything, but in my opinion, my honest opinion, get good with the basic plugins, because once you can hear, once you know what you're doing with what you have, when you get to the plugins that you spent money on, it makes things easy. You feel me? You know what I mean? Because that's what them plugins really do. They make things a little bit easier. You know what I mean? But you can still fuck your shit up if you don't know what you're doing. You feel me? So this is why I'm telling you, get used to using the basic ass plugins. It's my opinion, but hey, do what you want. Anyways, let's show you the track because I do talk a lot. You know what I mean? This is my first video, so I ain't even gonna sweat about it too much. I mean, my first tutorial. Y'all can tell me what I'm doing wrong. Y'all can tell me what I'm doing wrong. I'm kind of stubborn though, so we gonna see if I listen or not. Nah, I'm joking. I'm done. Don't. Nah, I am though. But anyways, back to this. All right. I ain't no singing ass nigga, but I did some singing. You know what I mean? And I still wrote it like a rapper because I'm a rapper. But anyway, let's do this. Let's drop this shit. I got stacks in here, harmonies. I ain't no singing ass nigga, but I put them in there just so I can be like, hey, look, guys, this is how we mix harmonies. Let's do this. I might have done the video bad already, but who fucking cares? We out here, we about to learn how to mix together. Just the way I mix. But it's cool though. Cooler than Cool Joe. Oh, old school flow. But who know though? I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that joint was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed things. Time to spread out my wings. And I took off to all this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast. Bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes. Dividends from profits. All I really did it for. But I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? See, who would have thought that I'd be, yeah. I was in on a mission to give me a million, let's be clear. Since our social positions, division got different in these years. A nigga had different decisions and issues to deal with. My nigga, that's real shit. I got with my niggas and got me a plan and got back to business official. Alright, so you got a gist of the track. I'm a smoker, so you can see me lighting up from time to time. You got a gist of the track. Now, what I will tell you, I recorded this with an AT2020. I will show you the gear that I got going on in here, but that's maybe later. But I'm actually recording it with some outboard gear, but everything I got is fucking tiny because I wanted a portable studio. Everything I got could fit in a backpack down to the speakers, right? So, but this is a me thing. I like shit like this. But I am running through some outboard gear. I am running the AT2020 into a ART Tube MP Studio. That's a preamp, or I'm running that into the preamp. I'm running that preamp into a compressor. It's the RNC. Now, I learned this from way back in the days. It used to be a website called Gear Sluts. They go by Gear Space now. I don't know if I could say that, but what the fuck ever. It's my first video. But that's how I learned about the RNC, and I've always wanted it, and I ended up getting the one that's over there, the Art VLA Pro 2 instead. But then years later, when I decided to build my mini studio, I got it anyways. I recommend it. It's working right now. Yeah! You feel me? It's working right now. Sounds great too. Anyways, so with that being said, the vocals are gonna have a certain like character to them because when you have this outboard gear, it gives it a character. All right. I recorded in my room, no soundproofing or anything like that, but I did have one of those SC reflection filters, whatever the most expensive one that came out. You know what I mean? Because if I was gonna save a little money on everything else, I was gonna at least try that. I don't really believe in them shits, but I will say I believe that one does work. It really does work. I ain't gonna lie. All right. But anyways, let's get into the mix now. All right. I'm sorry I talk so damn much. It's probably way longer than I originally wanted it to be. It's cool. All right, so I think we can do the hook first. I got the plugins on the hook. I got everything set up. There's something I want to tell you about. I gotta say in front of fucking mic. So this is one thing I've realized because I use Waves plugin right now. I'm gonna be throwing some auto tune on this because I don't have any auto tune on this, and I'm not really a singer like that. You know what I mean? I just do my thing. So I do not on this computer. This is my personal computer. Excuse me, not the studio computer, but I do not have any purchased plugins on here. I did, and then I moved them to the other computer, and the way Waves got shit set up right now, fucked up, that I can't use them on both of my computers, but it's alright. But I use Picture. Alright, now, I don't have the full version of Picture because my level of FL Studio does not come equipped with it. But the cool thing about this is once you know the key, you know what I mean, you can still use the plugin, and it doesn't turn off or anything, none of that. It just gives you a little message, but it lets you use the plugin. You know what I mean? So you can't save with it. You know what I mean, you can save with it and you save all your shit, but it won't save like the settings you have for that. It'll just get rid of the plugin until you purchase it. You feel me? But what I actually do, why I left two spaces here, is because I use Waves Live. I mean Waves Tune Live. Wait, Waves Tune Real Time. Okay, Waves Tune Real Time. I use Waves Tune Real Time, and that is such a fire ass auto tune. And this one here just sounds a little robotic compared to it, you know? But it's okay because I realized if I stack two of them, they give me a little something. You know what I mean? That sounds a little closer, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm gonna put the second one in. And I know that this is in the key of G minor, I believe. Where is it? Picture. Alright, so check this out. I got the other one turned off, I got this one turned on. So I'm gonna put this G minor. I want that shit on like medium. I don't want that shit going straight auto tune and shit. Let me hear the shit. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that joint was still over the dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? See, who would have thought that I'd be? Alright. Another thing, at first I wasn't sold on doing stacks, or harmonies rather, cause look, I don't even know what the fuck to name them, alto, soprano, I don't know what to name them, so I just got them as stacks, right? But I'm trying to stretch as an artist, so here we go. All right, we got them. All right, so now what I actually do with this second auto tune is I would literally just leave it on whatever key, or I'll change it to a different key altogether. You know what I mean? But I'll put it on fucking major or some shit like that, so it's totally wrong, and I'll put this shit maybe a little slower, you know what I mean? So it's not gonna sound good, right? It's not gonna sound good. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still over the dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? See, maybe it's in G. I mean, I was in on the mission to give me a million, let's be clear. Let's go with me, man. Since I social positions, I'm sorry, guys. I ain't super nice at this auto-tune shit. Like the key on the key. Oh, definitely ain't G. Oh, Lord. I knew that dream was still over the dream. But the call was on me. That's what I'm talking about. That's that message. It's time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Alright, so it's moving coast to coast. Bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes. Dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? See, who would have thought that I'd be here? I was in on the mission to get. Right, I'm sorry, but I don't even know if I'm gonna edit this. We're gonna see. But anyways. Alright, so the fucked up one now. There we go. We're gonna use a G because that was wrong. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that joint was still over the dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. Right, so God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed things. Time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bar shit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? See, who would have thought that I'd be? So let me see which one I actually think I was in on the mission. Cause now I might be bugging, but alright, let me see what's up. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. Okay, I'm not bugging. All right, so if you listen to especially like the supposed to be part in the but a dream, you'll hear that the auto-tune kind of left it out without the second one on. But once I turned on the other one, then it worked. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so the but a dream, especially, and the supposed to be, the but a dream and supposed to be, yeah. If you listen to that portion, you'll hear that without the second one, it sounds slightly different. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call, right? I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so Alright, so the thing about auto-tune, right? This is probably one of the plugins you have to have. You know what I mean? I believe you have to have this, period. I don't care if you're a rapper, singing, what have you. Every beat, every instrumental has a key of some kind, and you want to at least make sure that you're in that key, because it'll make it sit into the beat a lot easier, because it's in key with the rest of the instruments. You feel me? So anyways, so I'll tell you this. So I have everything set up already because I listened to it already, and I already know that I don't always do this, but this time I'm going with a de-esser first, right? Now, I was going to use the FL de-esser because I was going to do this a complete FL stock mix, but the reason why I'm going to use TDesser is, one, it sounds good, right? Especially for those who don't really know how to de-ess and whatnot, because I use the Waves de-esser. I like using that one because, once again, I got to use my ears, right? But the TDesser, pretty much wherever you set it, it sounds pretty good. You know what I mean? It's one of them plugins, and this is a free plugin. This is why I included it in the video. I wasn't going to. I was going to use the patcher, but man, it ain't that tough. To be honest with you, it ain't that tough. You know what I mean? So it works. I just felt like I had to put too much effort into it, though. But anyways, I use the TDesser, so I know I'm already going to want to de-ess some of this, all right? So we're going to get into that next. De-essing. Listen to the S's, T's. When I found out who I'm supposed to be, that's but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed things. All right, one more time. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but it. All right, that's supposed to be. You know, let me just loop it so we're a little closer. Yo, you guys really tell me what I'm doing wrong, because I know my video's gonna suck initially. You know what I mean? It's gonna suck initially, but you know what? It's alright, because y'all here with me. Find out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point. Alright, so let me show you how to use this real quick. You know what I mean? Alright, so the two options you have here, I don't know what the fuck these means. It's like, it tells me right here at the top, difference and filter. Alright, so the filter, alright, use this to just hear what you're actually going to be compressing, because a de-esser is nothing more than a compressor. Alright, so use this to know what frequencies you're going to be compressing, and get used to what it sounds like, so that when you do move up to a different de-esser that doesn't have like a set threshold and shit like that, and you get to choose, that you will know kind of what you're looking for. You see what I'm saying? All right, so I'll show you what's cool about this one though. So these are the two options that you're really going to worry about right now, the high and the high end. And maybe if you have a really low voice, you might be worried about these, but I really doubt that. It's more the high and the high end, because that's what we try and get them S's and T's. You feel me? All right, so let's listen back to that while I dial this in. Actually, I'm not going to dial in. Let me let y'all hear this first. Let me mute the beat too. Find out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. So you hear that? So this is actually the frequency range that you're going to be compressing. If you go to the higher end now, it'll sound like this. Now I will say this, immediately from the switch over here, I heard them T's and I was like, you know, I'm gonna touch here first. I'm gonna touch here first. All right. So now, the thing about the difference, right, what's really good, especially for those who don't really know how to DS or whatever, the cool thing about the difference is, when I go over to the difference, you see how you only hear the, when it gets close to the threshold, you hear the S. So this is how you know what to do. Now check this out. So you know how you heard, but at that point, right? Now you know you've gone too far because you're starting to pick up whole words. Right? See what I'm saying? But at that point, you were able to hear, but at that point. All right, so we're going to ease that off, right? And this is for those who really don't know. You literally use this and make sure, like, if you really want to kill the messes, you go until that point where you hear that shit, and then you start easing off. I don't mind catching them C's sometimes because, you know what I mean, sometimes that carries a certain frequency or whatever. But as you can see, now we getting a lot of DS in here. This one, what, 14, it went 9, 11, that's a lot. Saying? But we're going to turn it off.
But the call was on me. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that joint was still all but a dream. But the call was...
Alright, so off.
Find out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that joint was still all but a dream.
Right, on.
Find out who I'm supposed to be.
You already heard that. It's gone.
Find out who I'm supposed to be. Find out who I'm supposed to be.
Alright, now, I will say this. In the beginning, in my opinion, it doesn't matter if you kind of kill them S's. It doesn't matter because you're going to go through some processing that's going to bring those S's back. So that's why, you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna leave them S's crushed up like that. Nah, man, we're gonna do that. Because not everything is perfect and we're gonna work with this. Alright. Now I will tell you, the background vocals, the harmonies, I actually recorded in a whole different room with no reflection filter or any kind of anything around it, just because I wanted to be like, hey look, you can still make this shit work. You feel me? Alright. It's all about just knowing what to do. And I'm sorry it's taking so long to go through things. Should have rolled it out. I should have my splits rolled already. Alright, so we got some DSing in. Let's get to the EQing portion. Alright, so now in the EQing, this is the cleanup. Alright, so at this point, I want to get the vocal to sound how I would have wanted it sound when it got recorded in. Now, straight up, this wasn't a bad recording. It wasn't. You know what I mean? So the cleanup shouldn't be too tough. Alright, so let's loop this up. And let's get to doing some EQ. All right, I do sweep from time to time, but at this point, sometimes I know where the frequency is that I'm hearing that's off, right? But I'll teach you sweeping if you need that. Fuck it, I'll do it anyways. All right, so I mix by air. All right, I mix by air. This is why I'm using this. All right, and matter of fact, I'm glad I pulled this up so I could show you guys something real quick that I do not like about this Parametric EQ2. All right, so check this out. Listen to the vocal. All right, now every time I will put this on, I'm like, yo, something seems weird, something sounds off, right? And now I realize what it is. But anyways, listen to the vocal. I'm gonna turn it off and then I'm gonna turn it on. You're gonna hear the vocal change.
Find out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that joint was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when thing was time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bar shit.
Now I'm using headphones, so maybe this is how I noticed it. Nah, I noticed it in the speakers, but the monitors. But it seemed like there was some phasing issues, like it split my vocal in half a little bit. I don't really know the terminology and whatnot, but that's what it felt like, right? That's why I believe they put in this ignorant ass blunt, right, the linear phase mode, and make you be like, hey man, we got a linear phase, you know, fucking EQ. Nah, your EQ be up in here fucking shit up. That's what it is. All right, but check this out. Watch this.
Find out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point, I knew that dream was still low, but a dream. But the call was on me.
It no longer sounds like it has that split, right?
It was time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit.
It's like it widened it in a weird way. Not a way that I like.
I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for.
Right.
But I
so
had to let
it's not
it
a bad
go.
EQ though. But just for that fucking fucktard reason, I ain't dealing with it for right now. I rock with this one because I turned this on and that doesn't happen.
Find out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still low, but a dream. But the call was on me. So
This probably darkens it a little bit, but so the fuck what? Ain't that weird phasing shit? All right, let's get to it. The first thing that you guys want to do a lot of times, cause just keep in mind, a lot of y'all, y'all got beginning equipment and shit like that. So do what you would call tilting the frequency spectrum, right? I don't really know if I need this in this because it sounds alright, but I'm gonna do it anyways, just so I can teach you guys some shit. All right, so this is what tilting the frequency spectrum is. All right, and look at your manuals for your mics and shit, people. It'll show you what the frequency response for your microphone is, and then go look at a frequency response of like a U87 or whatnot, and like see if you could, get your EQ curve to match that a little bit. You know what I mean? I used to do that shit, but anyways. I'm going to tilt the EQ curve, and that's very simple. This right here is called a low shelf. Now, the reason why this is called a low shelf is because this whole line right here, watch this whole line, everything from 500 down is going to get pulled down. Now, the thing about EQing is this. Look at it like math, right? Look at it like math. If you have 10 and you subtract 5, there's a remainder, right? Now, just keep this in mind. That remainder is going to sound louder because now it has more space. All right? It has more space. If you have 10 people in this tiny ass room, y'all can't really move around as much. You feel me? You can't really move around as much. But subtract 5 of them niggas, the hefty niggas, the fat boys, you know what I mean? Nobody shaming. But subtract them niggas. And now all them, featherweights get to, move around the room a little freely. You know what I mean? They get some room to breathe. Right? So if you look at when you have to take out darker frequencies or harsher frequencies, just keep in mind so that you don't go boosting too crazy, that when you remove a frequency, you're giving the other frequencies room to breathe. Feel me? All right, so check this out. By tilting this frequency spectrum from 500 down, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to tilt it upwards. I want it to sound a little brighter, so I'm going to subtract some of the low end, right? Watch this. Watch how the voice just changes automatically. It's crazy.
Find out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still low, but a dream. But the call was on me.
All right.
So
very
I
little. How much?
It's time to spread out my
2
wings.
dB.
And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast. Bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes. Dividends from profits. All I really did it for. But I had to let it go.
Now, it might not seem like anything too much, but let's put the beat back in. You'll see just what that little bit there.
Find out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still low, but a dream. But the call was on me.
It was like weird to like put it in someone's pocket, you feel me?
Time to spread.
Alright, I'm gonna do it this way.
Find out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still. Find out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was.
Now I could volume match, which is what I should do. Alright, and I do that by ear too, so you know what I mean? I'm sure it don't be perfect, but shit, it sound good when I'm done. But anyway, so I'm gonna volume match it because when you pull out some of the lows, because it loses that heavy low end energy, because we hear bass a little louder than what it actually is, and highs a little we hear bass lower than it actually is, and the high is higher than what they actually are. I think that's what it is. I'm not sure, but anyways, that's what it feel like. So I'm gonna volume match it real quick. All right, did I turn that off?
Find out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still low, but a dream. but the call was on me. So I followed when things was time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bar shit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go.
All right, that's about
Why'd I
perfect.
let it go?
That's about perfect. All right, so now check it out.
Find out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that joint was still over the drain. Find out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that joint was still over the drain.
It literally just sits a little bit more, like almost like it moves its way up and into your face a little bit more. You feel me?
Find out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that joint was still over the drain. But
I hope you can hear that.
So I followed when things was time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bar shit.
All right, when I had it muted, I heard some. I don't know if that's the fan that's in this room. I hope not, but I swear I heard a little, like, it's probably room tone. I don't know what.
Find out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that joint was still over the drain. But the call was on me, so I followed when things was time to spread out my wings.
This is what sweeping is,
and I
right?
took
I'm
off
kind of
toward
making
this
it like
bar
sweeping, but I know where it
shit.
is.
Thoughts
So.
of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had
So
a
what you
lot
do, this
of
how you sweep,
hoes,
right?
dividends
But
from
don't-
profits. All I really
Let me stop. Don't, when you sweep, when you start hearing all this bad shit, you start pulling it all out. No, go for what you heard first. Go for what you heard first. Check it, and then see if you need to remove any of the extra shit out. Go for what you heard first. Find what you heard first. Don't start pulling that shit up, and then when you start hearing all the bullshit, you be like, damn. Nah, look for what you heard first, pull that out, and then make decisions afterward. All right, so let's do this.
find out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that joint was still over
See, we
the
getting close to it
drain.
already.
But the
Yeah.
call was on me, so I followed when things was time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this
actually pretty
bar
wide.
shit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches
Alright, so
flocking
we're gonna go
constant.
right in the
God,
middle.
I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really
that?
did it for,
We don't
but I
like that.
had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? See,
Watch
I
this.
remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that joint was still over the drain. But the call was on me, so I followed when things was time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bar shit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches fly.
I believe in small movements make big results. All right.
Find out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that joint was still over the drain.
The voice
The call
even,
was
it even
on
feels
me,
wider.
So I followed when things was time to spread out my wings. And I took off
If you think
toward
it's
this
because I
bar shit.
turned the volume
Thoughts
up, nah.
moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
All right. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna remove some of the low end frequency. You know what I mean? See if there's anything else in there that I need to pull out. But I'll hear that after I do that. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna set what's called a high pass filter, or a what do they call it? A high cut. I mean a low cut. You know what I mean? Low cut or a high pass filter. It's either because you're cutting the lows or you're letting the highs pass through. All right, so, all right, well, I know this is going to do this thing already, so let me go over here with this. All right, because I want that bump right there.
Find out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that joint was still over the drain. But the call was on me, so I followed when things was time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bar shit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? See, I remember.
All right.
Find out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that joint was still over the drain. But the call was on me, so I followed when things was time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bar shit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? See, I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that joint was still over the drain. but the cold one's on me. So I follow when things, time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? Shit. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things, time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? Shit. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things, time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? Shit. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things, time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot.
All right, you know what? I ain't gonna worry about it too much, cause fuck it.
Find out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things, time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? Shit. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things, time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? Shit.
All right, so I think that sounds pretty good. Let's save this. Not save as, man. Not save as. You know my computer's slow. I can't be doing that extra shit. All right, save as new version. Cause I had. Oh yeah, that's right. This is the. That's why I wanted to save as new version. So this is the message you actually get that pops up because you don't have the actual version of FL Studio that has this plugin in it. You know what I mean? But once you save it, it saves everything else. So you can always just go back in and throw that one in. All right. So this sounds pretty good, right? Let's listen back. Let's do a quick before and after.
Find out who I'm supposed to.
All right, let's actually start it from the beginning though, cause
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream.
All right, with the EQ.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be.
But at
that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things, time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit.
All right, so it's night and day. Let's keep it a band.
I remember when I found out who.
That's night and day, baby. Night and day. Damn, my lips ashy as fuck. I should have rolled up a spliff, bro. Man, we have to do an intermission at some point, but I guess I'm gonna roll with these clips that's here. You feel me? I should have rolled up beforehand. I'm sorry, guys. I'm terrible at this tutorial shit, but fuck with me. All right. Compression. All right, that's French for compression if you ain't know. All right, so now the next thing we gonna do, we gonna get these valleys and peaks, or peaks and valleys, under control. All right. So I think first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to even out, the transients rather than trying to get a tone as of yet. Because I did go with some compression. So I ain't gonna have to go too crazy. Now, compression, in my opinion, is what you need to know. That is gonna make or break your track. You can do so much with compression. You can make shit sound brighter, more aggressive. You can make it sound darker. You can sit it back in the mix, pull it forward in the mix. You can glue things together. We ain't gonna do no gluing or none of that today. We're gonna get into that if you want me to. But that's when I really going. I'm saying, but what we gonna do right now? I might do some glue compression. Maybe. We'll see. On the I might not have to because everything wasn't recording in the same room. I might do it. Damn, I might have to roll something up. But all right. So let's listen back to it and see what I actually want to be, what I want to do. All right, you know what? Let's listen. Yeah.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bar shit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant.
All right, so it's not gonna be anything too tough. It's just like sometimes I fade off a little bit towards the end of the word, but at the end, the last word specifically. But all right, so I'm gonna teach y'all how to hear some compression right now. All right, so y'all probably already seen this and shit. Turn the shit all the way down to the quickest attack, all the way down to the fastest release, cause this is how you gonna hear the shit. Right now, ratio, bump that motherfucker. All right, all's the way up. All right, now you're gonna pull down on the threshold, in my opinion, until you start to hear some distortion. If you do that, that's when you'll really be able to hear what the compressor is doing. All right.
I remember when I found
and compress with the beat on. Compress with the beat on. Don't do it with the beat off.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread
I know I
out
wasn't
my
hearing shit.
wings, and I took
I'm like,
off
what the fuck
to
going
this
on?
bar shit.
'Cause at that point, you hear shit dropping.
Coast to coast, bitch.
Shit ain't on.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to
See,
be,
there you go.
but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me.
You hear that distortion?
I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bar shit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
All right, so you can literally hear the distortion in it.
I remember when I found out who.
All right, so the distortion, remember, everything is harmonic content. So you can use these things to your advantage, you know what I mean? All right, but this is how you can. I start with the release sometimes. I see everybody say, start with the attack. But it's like, I guess that's cool if you don't know what you're listening for, you know what I mean? But the attack, because sometimes you want a fast attack. You know what I mean? Sometimes a fast attack works, especially if it's like you're trying to even out everything. Say your shit is already a kind of punchy vocal and it's like fading off in certain areas. You might want to keep that quicker attack so you can make the transients and the transients you can let them fuck man, look at me now. You can man, look, I'm gonna let you hear it and you can find out. I'll be able to explain it while you're hearing it. So check this out. When I move the attack, when I open it up, it's gonna get louder, right? The beginning of the words are gonna get louder.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bar.
At this point, it's not even catching anything.
Coast to coast, bitches flocking
All right,
constant.
the transients all the way through. It ain't really, I mean, this is more into that's more into valley territory. You know what I mean? Like it ain't really doing nothing there. So don't worry about too much of the lingo. You know what I mean? A fast attack is essentially, you know what, 0 microseconds to 1,000 microseconds. That's just 1 second, 1 millisecond. I'm sorry, that's 1 millisecond. Like, so, you know, anything from here to here, where's it at? Here is a fucking fast attack. You know what I mean? All right, anything from here to 1.0 is a fast attack, right? anything from 1.0 to 10 milliseconds is a medium attack, and anything 10 to 100 is a slow attack. But as you can see, this motherfucker here be swinging. But these are all slow attacks up here. Know what I mean? Release now. 1 to 100 fast is a fast release. All right, 1 to 100 is a fast release. 100 to 500, I believe it's 100 to 500. I got, because I've been getting up on my terminology. I've been listening to it for so long that I needed the terminology. But 1 to 500, I believe, is a medium release, and then 500 and up will be considered a slow release. If I'm incorrect on that, guys, somebody just leave it down in the comments. All right. This right here is the knee. All right. What's cool about this one is I just learned. This is why I say read the manuals. They said that their vintage one is based off the LA2A. All right. It's like a LA2A emulation. So we're gonna use that later on. That's gonna be the second compressor we use. All right. So, normally I do go harder compression when I want to catch my peaks, but because it's more like me kind of singing, I'm actually gonna go on a softer knee. Now, the hard knee, soft knee. All right, hard knee, it cuts them peaks immediately. Soft knee, it gradually goes up through the ratio curve until it gets to the ratio that you chose at the attack time that you chose. I'm sorry, this might be mumbo jumbo, but so if I have this at 9.3 milliseconds on a soft curve, it's not gonna be at 9.3 milliseconds when it first starts compressing. It might be at 3.1 milliseconds. You see what I'm saying? All right, might be like 3.1. Then when it gets halfway in, it's gonna be at like 5.25 or whatever. I don't know how it works, but essentially, you know what I mean. But after 9.3 milliseconds, it'll be all the way at. I said that totally wrong. But anyway, at 9.3 milliseconds, it'll be at 30. It'll be pulling it down at the ratio of 30 when it gets to 9.3 milliseconds. So at a soft, it'll be like a third in instead of 30. The ratio of 30 is going to be hitting it at 10, a third in. You know what I mean? Man, damn, this has turned out pretty bad. But anyways, man, I'll have to get those down and just come back at a later time and explain it to you guys. But essentially, because I feel like I got too much space in my video. It should be more audio, but whatever. So now we're gonna get into setting our attack and release. I set the threshold. I was starting to hear the saturation, right? The distortion. I showed that once you pull the attack up, the words start becoming you can hear the words again, right? Not legible because that's writing, but they're audible. The words become audible again. Now the release, you'll realize if I make the release longer, the words actually get quieter again. And why that is because the compressor is actually holding on to the phrase longer, right? So everything under there is essentially gonna stay the same until you bring it up with the makeup gain. So if the attack is all the way open, letting the transients through, and it's compressing the valleys, you're gonna get a punchier sound, you know what I mean? Because now the transients getting all the way through is gonna give it more of an attack when you say a word, or maybe on your kick drum, you know what I mean? The beginning punch of it, you know what I mean? And then the release now.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed
to be.
But at that point I knew that dream was still over.
See it getting quieter?
But the call was on me. So I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off.
At some point it doesn't change anymore because it's just clamping on it.
Bitches flocking constant. God, God, I had a lot of hoes.
See it getting louder?
From profits, all I really did it for, but I had to let it.
All right, so if you release too fast or your attack is too fast, you might get some kind of distortion, especially with the attack. It's usually the attack that causes that. But we're gonna set this in now, right? And because I want to catch the peaks and the valleys for the most part, actually no, I don't really want to catch the valleys. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna keep it a fast release, and I'm gonna leave the attack at 0, and we're gonna see what it sounds like. All right. I mean, we're gonna move the attack from 0. We're gonna see what it sounds like.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from.
Okay.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be.
All right, so if you listen to the supposed to be portion when it's off, the supposed to be sounds a little lower than the rest of the phrase. But when it's on, it's more even. So check it out.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be.
All right, one more time, off.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be.
All right, now on.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be.
Now the reason for that is with the quick attack, I'm hitting the initial attack of the voice, right? So the beginning of the voice is actually getting brought down, right? While the release is so quick, it's leaving the valley of the vocal alone, so that doesn't really change. So now the attack being brought down, the peak of the transients, the peak is brought closer to the level of the release. So then when I turn it up, both of them get turned up and they're closer at levels when they're turned up, so it gives you a thicker sound. So this will be like thick style compression. You know what I mean? This will be a thicker style compression. It make your shit thick. Pause. But anyways, all right, so now the ratio, we obviously don't want it there, you know what I mean? We're going to leave the threshold at what it is, all right? We're going to turn that ratio off, and we're going to blend in the ratio.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitch.
All right, so everything sounds pretty even there, but let's turn off that gain so we can really level match it correctly.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be.
I even have this shit on.
But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be.
Especially that found out who I'm supposed to.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to.
That who is really low.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to.
All right.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be.
So you can hear that who now.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me.
So I actually do hear a little of the distortion in the vocal, so I'm actually gonna pull off some of the threshold.
I remember when I found out who I'm
We're gonna pull it all the way off and blend it in as we see fit.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? Shit. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me.
I'm sorry if I take long. It ain't my fault. Damn, I need some weed. I gotta roll some shit up, man. But I ain't got no grind. I gotta cut up with the scissors. Damn, man, being West Indian is tough. But all right. So the compression sounds good. You know what I mean? Compression sounds good. All right. This is thick style compression. Thicker compression. It makes your vocal obviously sound thicker, right? You can see my threshold ain't down too crazy, right? But that's what makes it thick, because now you're only pulling down the initial attack of the transient and making closer to the valley. So when you bring everything up, everything closer together equals a wider waveform. All right. Damn, I'm gonna have to start calling these like smoke with me or something, because you might only fuck with this if you a smoker. All right, well, anyways. So now, the second compressor though, all right? The second compressor, let me see if it's even necessary.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
I'm gonna add it for the fact I just want to put it in a certain pocket, so I'm gonna go for it. All right, this one, you know what I mean, I'm probably gonna have a longer attack because I'm already hitting the initial peaks, and I might have a longer release. We're gonna see what's up. I'm probably gonna go soft again on the knee. Nah, I want to do the vintage. That's what I wanted to do. All right, this is what we about to do. All right, and I know that shit is like a 4-to-1 ratio, so I wanted to try this. All right, so the LA2A is a 4-to-1 ratio compressor, slower compressor. You know what I mean? It has a longer release time. Now you don't get all these options on the LA2A, but that's kind of cool, because if it's that type, and then we get to choose a release time and shit like that and attack, that's kind of cool. All right, so let's see what's up.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
See, I want to make sure I get that. Alright.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
I don't know if that profits part is going to become an issue, but I'm going to pull it back up. We're going to see. This volume match.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
So what you're going to notice about this compression is that it didn't really change the tone. Now the reason for that is because the release is a longer release. You know what I mean? Well, It's like medium. It's a medium release. All right, so the release is, but it's longer than the previous one. So the tone is gonna be more, what would you say, preserved, right? So the tone is gonna be more preserved because when the compressor attacks immediately to bring down that initial transient and it's lowering that transient, think about it, you remove something from it, so it kind of can't be the same. You know what I mean? So the when you use the makeup gain, that thickness it comes, I guess it's generated by the harmonics that are being affected by the compressor, and it gives it a thicker sound. I'm not sure, but I do know bass is affected first, so it probably has something to do with that. Now with this one, I'm letting the peaks all the way through because I already affected them. I didn't want to affect them too much, right? But the release, as I'm doing the release, I want to make sure that even though I'm affecting the valleys, I'm listening for the beginning of the words and the ending of the words, you know what I mean, to be around the same sound. I think Prophet kind of popped out a little bit at me. I'm not sure. That could just be my ears, but I'm not really trying to change the tone too much. I just want everything to be, you know what I mean, in a certain pocket. I'm shaping the vocal, you know what I mean? Shaping the vocal to be, I like almost like a rounder tone because I like the mid-range. I like the sound of mid-range. So, you know what I mean? I want everything to be really focused in the mid-range area, and I think that this second compressor did that pretty well.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be.
Right?
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be.
You hear that mid-range hop out.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be.
All right, so now we're gonna add another de-esser on there, and the reason is because when you add compressors, because it's lowering the signal layer, everything that's not affected gets brought up as well, right? And the S's is not really super powerful, even though we hear them, but the compressor's not gonna pick that up because it's a higher frequency. It affects the bass first, right? Right. So those S's get brought back up because they don't really get touched by the compressor unless you're really crushing that motherfucker, and they still gonna get brought up, right? Especially that. So we're gonna add a de-esser because we're gonna end up brightening this vocal again. All right.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still over the dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
All right, let's listen to those S's again. I'm not gonna talk about the de-esser, we already did.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still over the dream. But the call was on me.
Remember, especially that supposed to be.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be.
Alright.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still over the dream.
Right, sitting in the pocket pretty nicely. Let me listen to see how it's sitting with the kick and the hi-hat. I mean the snare though.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still over the dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit.
Alright, so you know what? I think first thing I'm gonna put do I wanna tilt the frequency curve? We could do that. But I think I'm gonna put a high pass on it first. All right, now you can see the high pass is magical, especially in this situation. After you done compressed it and got it sounding a little way, you know what I mean? Watch what happens when you pull up this high pass right here. It's beautiful. Big man thing, fam. It's a beautiful thing, fam. For real, fam. It's quite smashing. Watch, fam. For real.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? Shit. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant.
So the thing about mixing, man, mixing is a style thing. It's about taste, whatever your taste is at the end of the day. So what somebody is doing is not really right or wrong. It's what they're happy with. You feel me? So, so what I'm doing right now might be, somebody might be like, oh, I'm good with what I got, you know what I mean? Or they might have been good with way earlier, you know what I mean? But I like to do a little with a lot versus a lot with a little. I don't want my plugins working too hard, so I try to do a little, you know what I mean? That way I don't have to like try to crush it with one compressor or kill the essence so much with another compressor that I don't have to use it. That don't make sense because you got your shit working too hard. That in my brain doesn't sound like it makes sense. You know what I mean? So I prefer to do a lot, a little with a lot rather than a lot with a little. You know what I mean? All right, so let's see what's going on with this.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream.
All right, I'm gonna boost the high end and see, because normally I'll start get the cutting again, because I'm a cutting up motherfucker. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna boost the high end and yeah, I mean, give it some present and see how I feel about that before I get to doing whatever I'm gonna do. 8K is good. That's good for some brightness.
I remember when I
Turn this
found
into
out
a bell
who I'm
though. We're gonna turn it into a bell though. I like it sounding a little bit rounder, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just the air portion. It sounds better in my opinion. We'll pull up some other air later. Maybe. We'll see what's up.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And
Alright, sounds like some shit got pulled up. That's cool. Alright, a little huffy sound up in there.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? Shit. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
Okay, see, I wasn't bugging.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for.
Alright, I think that sounds pretty fucking good. All right, I think that sounds pretty good. This video is probably way longer than I planned. I wanted this shit to be like 15 minutes to 30 minutes, but you know what? I talk too goddamn much, and I just be feeling like there's so much shit I want to explain that I didn't initially want to explain, but now as I'm doing it, I want to explain it, and it's like, fuck, man, stay on task, Rome. You want to talk too much. I mean, oh, Jerome's my actual name. I wasn't even gonna mention that on here, but you know, eventually I'm gonna be on Wiki and shit, and y'all niggas gonna know anyhow. So.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that.
All right, so before and after, this is what we began with, folks. Remember, it sounded good when we first started. It did, right? So, and I apologize. You know, I know the volume's probably a little low, but that's because I want to make sure I have headroom in the mix. I mean, I'll throw out a limiter and all that shit afterwards, and we'll see what's up. But anyways, the before and after.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream, but the call was on me.
All right, the after.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream, but the call was on me. So I followed one thing, it's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits, all I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? Shit. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew
it was a little distortion on it, so I just got rid of that real quick.
So I followed one thing, it's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit.
Fuck it, we gonna throw them stacks in there just to see what it sound like. And I'm gonna do the lazy man thing because I'm actually gonna affect these differently. So I think I have them plugged in already. I don't. I'm gonna affect these differently, but I want to see what they gonna sound like if they were mixed all under the same thing. Let's go.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream, but the call was on me. So I followed one thing, it's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits, all I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
Some of them shits is trash in there. Well, that high pitched one, but we don't care.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream.
Nah, but I wouldn't leave it like that. I would never. All right. This video clearly is going a lot longer than I wanted, but it's because I'm enjoying myself and I'm having fun. So. But as you can see, the vocal is pretty much mixed up all straight. What I'm going to do the lazy man thing. You know what I mean? We're going to go over to the verse, and we're going to throw it on the verse and see how I rock on the verse, right? The same mix. This is what you could do in most programs. FL Studio, this is how you do it. You're going to go over here. First thing, this is what I will tell you to do, right? Come over here, right-click, go to rename color icon. If you already have it named, then just hit enter. So that when you do this here, right-click, file, and you see where it says save mixer track state as, left click and hold and drag this over to the verse portion. Now the reason why I have you change the name, what the fuck? Oh yeah, I ain't worried about that. At least put it there. All right, let me see. So what we got over here? We got this. What I do? We're gonna copy that value, G minor. All right, we're gonna go over here. Oh, let's name this back. So rename color icon. We're gonna go to this little triangle here and click that one right there. Because as soon as you hit enter, it saves it. Boom. Same color and everything. Name. All right, cool. That was that G minor. All right, cool. We're gonna leave it like that. Let's see. Wait, what? Hold on, bro. Which one is which? This one here. G minor. Okay. This one here. Okay. This is supposed to be G minor. We're going to paste that in there. All right. We're going to go to the other one, the second one. All right. We're going to copy that as well. We know that's F major. I thought this was in G. I'm bugging. All right. Picture the second one. F major. And we're going to paste that in. All right, cool. So now let's see what the verse sound like. We're going to run it in. You know what I mean? We're going to run it in from the top. Why not? Remember, everything in this beat was made with FL. All right, everything is FL, everything FL, except for the TDS, and that's only in the mixing area. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's go. Sounds like I'm getting some underrunning. That's alright. That sucks. I'm using a laptop to do this, so there's that. I wonder if this shit is even still recording. It don't matter, let's go. Wait, what the fuck? Hey, I don't remember putting the beat on solo, my G. What's going on here? There's something, oh. Why? Oh, that was weird. Alright, yeah, okay. I'm empty, I gotta go get some water. Alright.
Remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be? But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? See, who would I thought that I'd be, yeah. I was in on the mission to give me a million, let's be clear. Since our social positions, division got different in these years. A nigga had different decisions and issues to deal with. My nigga, that's real shit. I got all my niggas and got me a plan and got back to business official. Cause God, it got hard just to feel like the man when you broke it, hoes DM, I miss you. You know if they see it, they'll dish you, the plain of sleep, anything they insist to. Cause fam, they thinking you giving the dick, but you can't. You hate that they seem to convince you. Shit. I don't know if I slip up off this road, this roaded wine, yeah. But I hope just a little like it.
I might have to cut this short, folks. Listen to this shit.
Cause I got a little, what to do is obvious. It's the shit I gotta get through. I'm not one to call it quits. It's my thoughts of all the misuse of my gifts and knowledge when it's just God I gotta get to.
Alright, so I think it sounds pretty good. Alright. So I'm gonna have to cut it short because obviously I don't have the CPU power, because the way that I have to use OBS Studio, I can't like mess with the buffer and whatnot, or else it won't like record my audio. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just add some delay, alright, add some reverb, and then we're gonna call it a night. I already went too fucking long anyways, and then we'll go back to mixing the harmonies and, you know, ins and outs later. Alright, another video. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some slap delay. Now what a slap delay is, it's a really fast delay, right? Essentially it's a really fast delay. It's gonna make it sound more like a chorus. I'm gonna turn it up for you. Let me hook it up to this right now. It's already hooked up. Alright, turn off this beat. Let me just go to that hook. I'm gonna show you what it sounded like. I made them beforehand because I knew I was gonna talk too damn much and I'm gonna need to save some time, and I'm probably like an hour and some change in, which is crazy because it shouldn't even take me this long. You know what I mean? If I was locked in doing it without talking, it would have took me no time at all. Alright, so delay.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I follow when things.
See, it sounds like there's a chorus effect almost. You hear the delay. It's like somebody's almost like on a microphone and, you know, they're in an empty room and nobody's listening. So delays, the thing about slap delays have a way of making your vocal a little wider, right? It does have a way of making it wider. So sometimes you could overdo it if you have it too high and now your vocal sounds a little too wide. But excuse me. We're gonna mix this in.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the cold one's on me. So I follow when things, time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes.
I hope you can hear that.
All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
Alright, cool. Alright, we're gonna add a quarter note delay. I think I have a quarter note delay. We can see what I got. But anyways, we're gonna add a delay to it. Alright, I already have these set up. If we need a video on delays and all that, reverbs and whatnot, I'll just let me know. I'll do that for you. Alright. So now let's add in some delay. You know what I mean? Just to give it some excitement. I'll show you what this sound like.
Supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still over the dream. But the call was on me, so I followed them things. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still over the dream. But the call was on me, so I followed them things. It's time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends and profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
Alright, cool. We're gonna have to pull in some reverb. I'll show you this real quick. Here's a little tip, man. EQ your reverbs, folks. You know what I mean? Because there's gonna be some low end shit you don't want in there, and you don't want too much of them highs fucking with your hi-hats and shit. Alright. Pre-delay, man. If you don't got the right pre-delay, man, if you have too short a pre-delay, it's gonna sit your shit into the beat too much. You know what I mean? If you got too long of a pre-delay, it's just gonna sound fucking fucked up. Alright, so keep some bass in that bitch, because the way that fucking the diffusion actually works, it's gonna not diffusion, but we hear bass. We hear more bass. Like, bass is easier to hear. So, you know what I mean? When the vocal goes across the room, more bass is going to be heard versus the highs, because as it trails off, the highs are going to, because it's a weaker energy, those are going to disappear a little earlier. You know what I mean? So I feel like you should have some bass left in your pushed up in your reverb, and then you can EQ it out where you don't want it. You feel me? So let's see what I got here. See if I like this one. I ain't got no early reflections. That's crazy. I ain't doing that. We got to turn them reflections up just to make it sound more realistic. You feel me? Now, the more reflections you have, the more it sits into the beat. The less, the more the vocal stands out. All right?
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still over the dream. But the call was on me, so I followed them things. It's time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
So notice how even though I have a bunch of reverb on this shit, you can still hear my shit. Matter of fact, let me turn it all the way up and you'll see. You'll still hear the words.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that
obviously the voice sounds smaller.
But the call was on me, so I followed them things.
The voice sounds smaller further back, because that's what more reverb does, but you can still hear everything. So it means that, you know, my compression, everything is alright. You know what I mean? Like, you know, even it's still cutting, even though I threw it way back with the reverb. You know what I mean? I use reverb to put it further back into the space of the instrumental. But alright, so we obviously ain't gonna use that much though. So let's turn it off and mix it in.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still over the dream. But the call was on me, so I followed them things. It's time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? See, who would have thought that I'd be, yeah. I was in on the mission to give me a million, let's be clear. Since our social positions, division got different in these years.
Okay.
A nigga had different
so now we're gonna do the same for the verse, alright?
My nigga, that's real shit. I got all my niggas and got me a plan and got back to business official. Cause God, it got hard just to feel like the man when you broken hoes DM, I miss you. You know if they see it, they'll dish you. They'll plan to sleep anything they insist to. Cause fam, they thinking you giving the dick, but you can't. You hate the dish, the convince you. Shit. I don't know if I'll slip up off this road this time. This road it winds, yeah. But I hope just a little I can grow this time and expose my mind. Cause I'm caught a little, not because I got a little. What to do is obvious. It's the shit I gotta get through. I'm not one to call it quits. It's my thoughts of all the misuse of my gifts and knowledge when it's just God I gotta get to. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings. And I took off through all this bullshit. Thoughts are moving coast to coast. Bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes. Dividends from profits. All I really did it for. But I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? See, who would have thought that I'd be, yeah. I was in on a mission to give me a million, let's be clear. Since our social positions, division got different in these years.
I could probably have a better recording of it, but I told myself I was gonna leave all the discrepancy because not everybody's perfect with this shit. You feel me?
Cause God, it got hard just to feel like the man when you broke it, host DM, I miss you. You know if they see it, they'll dish you. The plaintiffs to leap anything they insist to. Cause fam, they thinking you giving the dick, but you can't. You hate the dishing to convince you. Shit. I don't know if I'll slip up off this road this time. This road it winds, yeah. But I hope just a little I can grow this time and expose my mind. Cause I'm caught a little, not because I got a little. What to do is obvious.
We'll see something cool that you guys can do too. If you feel like you don't got enough space in the beat, you can do this right in FL. Alright? Alright, let me turn the shit off before I do that. Watch this. So if you go over here to Patcher, right? They have something called mid-side EQ. 9 times out of 10, because I mix my vocals mid-rangey, it'd be logical if I pull a little mid-range out of the beat, right? Because I want the mid-range of my vocal to be present. So what I'll do, go over to this filter right here, presets, filter, you know what I'm saying? Well, the filter spot, mid-side EQ. All right. Now, the same thing for these goofy ass EQs. Turn one of these shits on at least. All right. On God. All right. At least one of these shits.
I remember when I found out who
both of them preferably.
But at that point I knew that dream was still low, but
I don't know if it matters for the side,
so I followed them things. It's time to spread out my wings. And I took off the water.
Actually, you know, I'm gonna leave it on. I'm gonna leave it in that weird splitty shit on the side.
Constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
Check this out.
Who would have thought that I'd be, yeah. I was in on a mission to give me a million, let's be clear. Social positions.
So do you see how the voice kind of disappeared right here?
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed them things. It's time to spread out.
That's on the mid side, right? So watch, because the voice disappeared there, I know there's a lot of energy there. So I'm gonna just pull a little of that out. Watch what happens.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be.
I had it turned on.
But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed them things. It's time to spread out my wings.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Off the water's bullshit. Thoughts are moving coast to coast. Bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes. Dividends from
I don't know if you hear that.
All I really did it
if you didn't, you might want to get your ears fixed.
Why'd I let it go?
Watch.
See, who would have thought that I'd be, yeah. I was in on a mission to give me a million, let's be clear. Since our social positions, division got different in these years. A nigga had different decisions and issues to deal with. My nigga, that's real shit. I got with my niggas and got me a plan and got back to business official. Cause God, it got hard just to feel like the
all right, another thing you can do too, just in case the beat has any rumble in the bottom of it.
I don't know if I'll slip up off this road this time. This road it winds.
Excuse me. Sorry about that,
But
guys.
I hope just a little
30 hertz.
I can
I always go to 30
grow
hertz.
this time and expose
You don't
my
really hear
mind.
much
Cause
shit
I'm
down there,
caught
so.
a little, not because I got a little. What to do is obvious. It's the shit I gotta get through. I'm not one to call it quits. It's my thoughts of all the misuse.
Another tip: if you hold control and then move your knobs, it moves them in increments instead of the whole sliding all quick shit. All right, let's turn this off and on real quick.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so
Listen to the bottom end of the vocal.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit.
Let's add some highs into it, you know what I mean? We can do that on the sides though.
God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
Fuck it, yeah, let's use a bell curve.
I was in on the mission to give me a million, let's speak. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast.
All right, so listen to the hi-hats. All right, listen to the hi-hats. I probably should have turned them up in the beat, or I can go in and do that with some multi-band EQ, but I ain't gonna worry about all that right now. But I probably should have turned them up in the beat, but listen to the hi-hats. Let me put the beat on solo. Watch. Or the cymbals, rather, whatever the fuck this is, whatever I put in this beat. All right, ready? Listen. Off. Hear that? On. All right, off. On. Let me exaggerate it. That right there. I actually like it up there. Alright, let's pull that vocal back in.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
Alright, we're gonna do a little pseudo master. Alright, here's a tip: soft clipper. Alright, you want to put a soft clipper on your shit. What a soft clipper is, it's a compressor, but with a soft knee. Remember, it gradually compresses your signal. Alright, so when I first was learning about this, it has some fucking settings that it would tell me to use on every FL fucking video. I don't do that. I just listen to it and clip as much as I want.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
All right, so I'm actually listening to the kick. All right, and I'm trying to see like when the kick is starting to disappear and shit. And right around here, it's starting to disappear and shit.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that
I was totally wrong. You're just like out loud. It's crazy.
But the call
I don't like
was
that.
on me, so I followed one thing. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let.
So I was trying to get the vocal to sit into a pocket. And now I can hear. You can hear the. You can hear the what I got? The rim. I think it's a rim that I put in there. Whatever we can call it, a snare. What's in the snare spot, right? That rim there is you can hear it now. Poke his head out a little bit. All right, watch.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be.
Right now, when I turn the volume back up to match it, you'll see what I mean.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to.
All right, not even a crazy boost, but just a little bit.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still over the dream.
Listen to that.
But the call was on me, so I followed when things was time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot.
Now it's like the vocal is in the beat, right? A little bit of compression. And now we're gonna put on a limiter. Bass, you know what I mean? We're not mastering for real here. We just want our shit loud enough so that we could, people could hear it. I'm gonna just use the basic fruity limiter. All right, set your limiting ceiling between negative 0.5 and negative 0.3. Negative 0.3 if you want your shit a little louder, you know what I mean? Sometimes I like that because shit just louder, bro. I put it in the car and that shit bang. But I used to mix too loud. I used to wonder, every one of my mixes, when I put it up next to a mix and master track, my shit be loud than a motherfucker. No real distortion, but loud than a motherfucker compared to the regular joint. So I realized their limiter ceiling was a little bit lower. You know what I mean? They didn't have it at 0.1, which is close to 0, which is the loudest. Is what's considered the loudest in the audio world. 0 is the loudest, you know what I mean? So I would say 0.5, 3. I'm gonna use 0.5, you know what I mean? Fuck it, that's good for YouTube and shit like that. So I'm gonna use 0.5. All right, I'm gonna listen to the attack and release and shit like that. The most important shit on here is the release, real talk, because the release is fucked up. It just sound bad. But anyway, let's go.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be, but at that point I knew that dream.
Wow, I'm really hearing shit. I haven't even done anything with the saw clipper. But you want to know what? I'm gonna tell you why I know it actually did exactly what I wanted it to do. Because oddly enough, even when the shit is turned off, it affects it in some way. I've noticed that about these plugins, and that's why it always fucks with me, because you still hear the shit working. You really do. It's not. Sometimes you don't, but sometimes you literally can hear this right here. Listen to that. Listen to the snare. It's with the shit off. Watch, I ain't capping.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be.
Right.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still over the dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things was time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant.
Alright, let's turn this shit up.
I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? Remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still over the dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things was time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? Remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still over the dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things was time to spread out my wings. And I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? Remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still over the dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things was time to spread out my wings. And I took off to what I did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? See, who would have thought that I'd be here? I was in on a mission to give me a million, let's be clear. Since our social positions, division got different in these years. A nigga had different decisions and issues to deal with. My nigga, that's real shit. I got my nigga.
Don't be bugged out, bro. I'm just trying to get to the 16 spot, bro. Oh, them got 16. That's hot.
Did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? See, who would have thought that I'd be, yeah. I was in on the mission to give me a million, let's be clear. Since our social positions, division got different in these years. A nigga had different decisions and issues to deal with. My nigga, that's real shit. I got with my niggas and got me a plan and got back to business official. Cause God, it got hard just to feel like the man. When you broken hoes DM, I miss you. You know if they see it, they'll dish you. The plaintiffs to leap anything they insist to. Cause fam, they thinking you giving the dick, but you can't. You hate that they seem to convince you. Shit. I don't know if I'll slip up off this road this time. This road it winds, yeah. But I hope just a little I can grow this time and expose my mind. Cause I'm caught a little, not because I got a little. What to do is obvious. It's the shit I gotta get through. I'm not one to call it quits. It's my thoughts of all the misuse of my gifts and knowledge when it's just God I gotta get to. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off to all this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? Did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
That one note in there be killing me. It's all good. But you know what? I'm going to call it a night, man. I've been on here way too long, you know what I mean? I'm sorry that my tutorial ain't as, fleshed out as it needs to be. I apologize. But, going forward, give me some tips, folks. You know what I mean? My shit's too long. I know it's too long, too much talking. Or maybe I didn't talk enough about the right things. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, just let me know if there's anything you want me to explain. You know what I mean? Once again, now I'll be honest with you, this is not what I would consider a finished mix, especially if I'm using like plugins and whatnot that are stock plugins. You know what I mean? Like, I would process this a bit more. You know what I mean? I might even put, let's see, look, Blood Overdrive. It's a preamp. You know what I mean? Watch this. Add some color. It's good to use if you don't have like a preamp for real. You just using a USB mic. You just throw this Blood Overdrive in here. You know what I mean? It helps you out a little bit. Watch this.
Did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? Did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? See, who would have thought that I'd be, yeah. I was in on the mission to give me a million, let's be clear. Since our social positions, division got different in these years. A nigga had different decisions and issues to deal with. My nigga, that's real shit. I got with my niggas and got me a plan and got back to business official. Cause God, it got hard just to feel like the man. When you broken hoes DM, I miss you. You know if they see it, they'll dish you. The plaintiffs to leap anything they insist to. Cause fam, they thinking you giving the dick, but you can't. You hate that they seem to convince you. Shit. Did it for, but I had to let it go. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off to all this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches talking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for.
Alright, distortion. Now, work that in.
I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed when things time to spread out my wings. And I took off to all this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant.
Alright, it didn't sound that great, but whatever. You get the idea. Like, I would probably keep processing this. I like using compression more than anything else. Compression is my shit. And I like to glue things together with compression. We would have got to that, but I couldn't really get to the harmonies and whatnot. But it's all good, man. It's pretty tough for what it is. We throwing on these delays and shit. And we'll listen to it one more time, even though I already did too much. From the top, let's go. We're gonna leave the fucking stacks on and shit. Hopefully it won't act up. Remember, the stacks are not mixed, but fuck it. Any sort of drink, any sort of smoke. Not liquor, by the way. I don't do the liquor, only the herbs. I might drink the fuck out of some whiskey, though. I ain't gonna lie.
I remember when when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed them things. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go? See, who would have thought that I'd be, yeah. I was in on a mission to give me a million, let's be clear. Since our social positions, division got different in these years. A nigga had different decisions and issues to deal with. My nigga, that's real shit. I got with my niggas and got me a plan and got back to business official. Cause God, it got hard just to feel like the man. When you broke it, hoes DM, I miss you. You know if they see it, they'll dish you. The plan is to leap anything they insist to. Cause fam, they thinking you giving the dick, but you can't. You hate the dishing to convince you. Shit. I don't know if I'll slip up off this road this time. This road it winds, yeah. But I hope just a little I can grow this time and expose my mind. Cause I'm caught a little, not because I got a little. What to do is obvious. It's the shit I gotta get through. I'm not one to call it quits. It's my thoughts of all the misuse of my gifts and knowledge when it's just God I gotta get to. I remember when I found out who I'm supposed to be. But at that point I knew that dream was still all but a dream. But the call was on me, so I followed them things. It's time to spread out my wings, and I took off toward this bullshit. Thoughts of moving coast to coast, bitches flocking constant. God, I had a lot of hoes, dividends from profits. All I really did it for, but I had to let it go. Why'd I let it go?
All right, man. Thank you for hanging out with me, guys. I appreciate you. I normally don't mix in headphones, so I hope this came out pretty good. You know what I mean? I'll probably check it out afterwards. You know what I mean? But once again, thank you for hanging out with me. Vasco Savar, also known as produced by Yasuke, here in the temple. You guys enjoy the rest of your night, day, or whatever you're having. Appreciate you. One love.